So I don't know, man, it was really great having you play with your son and me playing with my son,
Yes,
and
it
our
was.
good friend Mark. And I think we really have some keepers.
Oh, I would hope so. Yes, yes. It was really nice, and I liked the studio I went to. You really picked a fine
Yeah, we're in
studio.
Strobe Recording
Yeah.
Studio,
Yes, beautiful.
Chicago, Illinois.
Yes, beautiful. Very comfortable. Good sound everywhere. Yeah, I enjoyed that. But you're right about getting to play with our sons like that. It was nice to hear my son, who has his own career going in rock, and I got him.
Ira's son is Brev Sullivan.
Brev Sullivan, yes.
Yeah. He was in a movie recently.
Guess it was 4 years ago or so. My son said to me, "Oh, I've got to join some actors guild or something, or get a car." I said, "An actors guild?" He says, "Yeah, I'm doing a movie with Tom Cruise." I says, "Really? What kind of movie is that?" He says, "It's called Rock of Ages, and it's about rock music." He's getting interested in playing jazz because he grew up hearing me play with all kinds of great jazz musicians, and so now he's sort of falling in love with the music. And
Yeah, I heard some Joe DiOrio in there.
well, that's who
I
he saw me
and,
practicing with. Yes, it was beautiful. But he really did a fine job. And then when you presented this project, that was even better. And then watching the two sons play together, you know,
That was wonderful.
Jim and Brev.
And it's timely too for me because we have the Feast of Tabernacles coming up in the Jewish. I'm Christian, but in the Jewish faith, it's harvest time.
Yes.
And it was for me. It's a harvest. I've known you about 40 years now, but now we both have sons playing in the business, and it's not only have we gotten to play together in the past, but our sons with us,
Yes.
and our good friend Mark. And
Yeah,
Beautiful.
wonderful project you got us involved in here.
great to have you.
But the Feast of Tabernacles you just spoke about, now you say that occurs.
Well, that all day. I'm calling in this clip that we just recorded the other day with all of us, the five of us. It was five, right? Yes. I'm calling it blood moons, or 4 blood moons, one of the two. And because and I'm not as informed on this as I'd like to be, but the 4 blood moons are moon eclipses where the moon turns to blood, and they do it in sets of 4 together, and it occurs and it seems to be relevant to what happens in Israel. And as Christians, we're very tied to Israeli events. It happens at important times, and it's also the Feast of Tabernacles, which is harvest. So to me, it's like a double entendre because we're using our harvest, but it's also, Mark, you know more about the Feast of Tabernacles and the 4 blood moons than I do.
Well, actually, I was not raised as a religious Jew, very much a cultural Jew, but I was very much interested to find out about this subject. So in surfing the web, I came across something that I thought perhaps I would share. And it speaks about the blood red moon and how interesting it is, and the connections to past and future Jewish feasts. And it says here, to the amazement of the writer here, they found a very significant connection, and they quote Joel and they quote Acts from the scriptures.
So the Old Testament, which is Jewish text, and the Acts is New Testament, Christian text, and there's a correlation always for us Christians between the two.
Of course, yes. Joel says from 2:30-31, quote, "And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the coming of the great and awesome day of Jehovah."
So that's referring to the last days.
And then Acts, which is from 2:20, quote, "The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before that great and glorious day of the Lord." And then it goes on to say the Talmud, which is the Jewish book of tradition, it says, "When the moon is in eclipse, it is a bad omen for Israel. If its face is as red as blood, it is a sign that the sword is coming to the world. Therefore, Lunar eclipse equals bad omen for the Jewish people and Israel. Blood moon equals sword coming. Solar eclipse equals bad omen for the world. Now these are lunar eclipses, this tetrad you were speaking of. And it says four blood...
It's called tetrad?
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Tetrad.
And tetrad is the occurrence of...
Well, four. Any group of four is a
group
tetrad.
of four, and how far apart are they spaced? Do you have any?
Well, it's saying here 4 blood moons on Jewish feast days within 2 years in Israel is very rare, has only occurred 7 times since the time of Yeshua. There are now 4 blood moons scheduled to appear in 2014, 2015, and then there will not be any for the next 100 years. Every time a blood moon pattern has appeared on Jewish feast days, a big event affects the nation of Israel. The event affecting Israel begins just before the actual years of the blood moons. To understand what will happen in 2014, 2015 blood moons, you must understand the pattern of blood moons in the past. And it goes on to say it was confirmed by NASA that we have had blood red moons on the first day of Passover and the first day of Sukkot, on back-to-back years 7 times since 1 AD. 3 of these occurrences were connected to 1492.
And what's that?
Of course, we know that was the year the Jews were expelled from Spain.
That was the Inquisition.
Yes. 1948, the statehood of Israel and the War of Independence. 1967, the Six-Day War, and some of the most significant days in Jewish history. According to NASA, 4 blood red total lunar eclipses will fall again on Passover and Sukkot in 2014 and 2015.
And that's coming up like this. We're dating this now, but
Yeah.
we're in September.
So next month. We're in September. This month.
This month.
This month.
This is 2015.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we're in September. So what is like September 28th or 27th or something like that?
I don't know the exact date. It goes on to say the same back-to-back occurrences at the time of 1492, 1948, and 1967. 7 back-to-back blood red moons have fallen on the first day of Passover and Sukkot, with the 8th time coming in 2014, 2015. And it goes on to say the meaning of the number 8 in the Bible is new beginnings. The 8th day was new after God rested. There are 7 days in a week, and the 8th day is a new beginning. Christ rose on the 8th day, which was a new beginning for the world. In Hebrew, the days of the week are simply numbered, except for the 7th, which is the Sabbath, Shabbat. With the exception of the Shabbat, the weekdays have no names. They are simply numbered, and it goes on. It's very, very, very interesting.
So as Christians, we're preoccupied. The world is right now with the Book of Revelations and the second coming of Christ and all the calamities that are to occur. And in Jewish history, this symbolizes a new beginning. But the new beginning is yet to come, because the 4 blood moons now would intonate a rough time for Israel.
Evidently, well, according to what I have read, and I certainly am going to do more research, you've really piqued my interest in this subject.
And just the last thought before we go. So this is a harvest for us. This clip we've just played is a lot of fun to have with our sons and our good friend Mark. We'll call it 4 blood moons, and the relevance being, once again, the blood moons have only occurred, how many times did it say since Christ?
1492, 1948, and 1967, so this will be the 4th, evidently.
And 1967, of course, is when Israel was attacked on all sides, and it was miraculous that she survived. And so, okay, enough said, maybe. That's
New beginnings.
new beginnings.
That's right.